here's the thing. Many parents may be worried each time their child coughs or sneezes and wondering, is it a cold? Is it COVID-19? Determining the symptoms can be tricky. And so how can you tell the difference? The Fox Medical team's Deena Centofanti joins us live this morning with more. Deena, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Good. Just trying to navigate where do I need to wear a mask and where am I allowed to roam freely, right? It's confusing times.
I think we're all dealing with those confusing times. And here's the thing with my children, I know that they get a cold maybe once a year, right? And now that we're all wearing masks and that kind of thing, and we're dealing with coronavirus, I do have to wonder about the difference between the common cold and COVID in children.
Well, yeah, and it used to be your kid would get a cold or a sniffle and you'd be like, oh, you're fine. Now we look twice, right, to make sure. So you throw in allergies, colds, flu. Also, doctors told me they saw an uptick in RSV, which is a virus among the little ones once the masks came off. So when you're looking for severe symptoms to know if your child has COVID or a cold, one of the telltale differences is that COVID is usually going to affect them. You know, we always say a cold is sort of from the neck up. You feel kind of stuffy, you feel a little bit lousy, but COVID or the flu, for that matter, is going to really affect the whole body. So one of the biggest tells that COVID may be an issue, of course, is loss of smell and taste. So that's one of the things you can have, and if it's a kid, because the one thing we know for sure is that if somebody does have COVID, even if they don't have terrible symptoms, you want to keep them away from other people. And you can ask them to maybe smell something, smell some cinnamon, or taste something that's got a strong flavor to it. So the fever is usually not associated with a cold. That can be an issue with COVID or the flu. COVID and influenza give off very similar symptoms in some cases, so that might come down to a test, a little rapid test at the urgent care. And but in general, a cold should disappear within, you know, a week or so.
And I was going to ask you, because you mentioned urgent care, when should you see a doctor?
Well, and that's one of those situations where you look at, first of all, is your child, so if you're looking at if you're talking about your kid or even yourself, are you going to be around other people? Do you have people at risk in your household? Or are you afraid of potentially spreading something that could be serious? And the flu is nothing to joke around with either, but of course our main concern right now is COVID. So the symptoms, when you're analyzing the symptoms, you're also analyzing the risk factors in your household and among, you know, who your child might be hanging out with. Doctors say if there's and by the way, doctors do say that most kids especially will recover just fine at home from a cold, from COVID, and from the flu, usually. So usually it doesn't require a doctor's visit, but sometimes that test, you want that peace of mind to know, what am I dealing with exactly if you can't quite figure out the symptoms, and it's just too similar to what you see in that list of COVID symptoms.
Good advice. Deena Centofanti, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.